Simo, you've got a pretty big squad out there at the moment. It must be good to have big numbers.
Yeah, it's the first day back really. We had a time trial on Monday, so this is the first session where everyone's back on deck together.
It's sort of a thing of the past, people coming back not in shape or anything like that. But does everyone in pretty good nick?
Yeah, look, the break's a bit longer than previous years, so yeah, they've got to come back in good nick, and they've got to do it on their own. So the older players in particular have had a bit extra break, that extra couple of weeks, but the numbers suggest that everyone's improved again since last year.
Why is the break? I mean, it does seem like you've come back a lot later. What's the reasoning for that from your point of view?
Oh, it's the Players Association. Yeah, it's what they've agreed on. So, which is fine. We'll manage through that. It's a long season, so quite often you get halfway through April and you feel like you're ready to play. So, you know, there's not a lot of wriggle room for injuries and management, and they've got a 2-week break over Christmas as well. So, I think we've got 9 sessions before we break. So, it's for teams who play finals. It's a tight squeeze.
So players.
Is pre-season too long? Could it be shortened for the entire competition? Is it really? Would it be realistic to come back in the new year for teams, or could you not be ready for round 1 doing that?
I suppose the longer you leave it, the more you're backing your players that they're doing the right thing in their break. So you know, contact hours with their players in the off season's minimal as well. So for teams with younger squads and inexperienced guys who have their 10-week leave, you're leaving a lot to 18, 19-year-olds to prepare themselves for. You know, it'll ramp up pretty quickly, but that's all about education, and it wouldn't surprise me for the future that happens.
Would it be better if everybody had the same start date rather than staggering them based on where you finish? Would it be sort of more of a level playing field that way?
No, not really, because you do need an extra bit of break if you play. You know, if you're Adelaide or Richmond, you know, they need an extra couple of weeks break, and you know, the first to 4-year players come back a couple of weeks earlier, and quite often they haven't been part of the campaign, and they need a bit extra work, so I'm happy with it.
How significant was it for you yesterday to get the squad out to Perth Stadium and have a look at it as en masse?
Yeah, it was a great stadium, and I think our players have been, you know, anticipating, you know, with a lot of confidence what they can do there. But getting out of the ground and looking at our rooms, they're our rooms, you know, they're branded with our colours, and having a look around the stadium was magnificent for everyone.
Anyone been there, or from the playing list, or at all? No.
No.
So what was the reaction when they got to finally see it?
Part of trying to get out there early is try and, you know, make it feel like home as quick as we can, because it, you know, it's a pretty big stadium, and it's round 1 against Sydney. We'll get 60,000 there, so try and anticipate what that's going to feel like and prepare for it starts now for us.
What about dimension-wise? It's going to be different to Subi. So how do you have to change the way you play because of that?
No, not necessarily. This oval here and what we've got here with our training base in the future, we've got MCG on the other oval and Perth Stadium here. So all our drills and the way we play and the way we train will be on the same size as Perth Stadium. So that'll work itself out well.
What about compared to playing? Obviously, you've set a game plan around Subi a little bit. So whilst you can train it here, do you have to change what you've done at Subi now that you're going to wide ground and shorter ground?
We haven't set a game plan around Subi. No. The style of play is our style of play. It just happens to be at Subi, so that'll change.
Will you have the same advantage you feel early in the year, given you're adjusting to that ground?
Yeah, I mean, when people come over here to play, it's the travel factor. It's the you know, it was the oval, but I think the crowd's got a fair bit to do with it as well. So an extra 20, 30,000 there is going to be pretty intimidating.
How have you found the draft days have gone so far in pre-season? Anyone caught your eye yet?
Well, they've all managed to do something, and so quite often we get these players and a little bit broken. So we don't see them in full flight till after Christmas, but they're all involved in their own way. A lot of them ran at the time trial the other day, and pretty impressive. And their footy knowledge is probably a little bit more advanced than previous years. So I think the under-18s competition and the waffle comp as well with the Colts, and the way they go about educating the modern game is probably a little bit more advanced.
Do you think with a couple of the country players as well, because they've already clashed with those senior players in league, do you think they kind of have a bit of a step up to the rest?
Time will tell. We haven't had any competitive work yet, and they've trained amongst, you know, the other first to 4 years. So the next few weeks we'll find out a bit more about the players, but we won't put too much of a rush on it. Having said that, there's spots for grabs too, isn't there? So with 10 new players coming on our list, you'd think 1 or 2 of them will play, you know, pretty early in the season.
Tell us about your forward line. I mean, it could be very different, couldn't it, to years gone by? I mean, you're going to have JK, but with Ryan and also hopefully more games out of Rioli and injury-free, could those two play together?
Well, you probably think last year with our side and the balance, we had probably too many mids in our side, and it was probably through the lack of options that we had as forwards. So you think with Ryan and Rioli and Lacroix and Cripps and someone like a Venables, that they all could be playing the same side and all be playing forward. So we will be a different looking side.
How have you made of Liam Ryan in the first couple of weeks? There was a lot of talk last year about work ethic, but he seems to have really made himself a much better footballer in terms of defensive style, etc. Oh
yeah, and his attitude in general. He's a bit older, and I think having a couple of years at Waffle level has done him a world of good. And the system that they've got down there at Subies, we've really benefited from that. Even the time trial, he ran that really well. He's trained every session, and he looks right to go.
So Ryan and Rioli could be pretty exciting. Could be a very different looking West Coast.
It will be different. It will be different.
Are you keen to see some of Ryan's flying marks?
Yeah, as long as it's not on. A lot of them were on our East Perth boys' heads last year, so we showed all the highlights the other day in the team meeting, and half the hangers he took were on us, so at least that won't happen this year.
We saw Richmond obviously win the flag with a small forward line and only one real key post. Do you expect the competition to go that way in general as well?
Oh, not necessarily. I think you look at your list and what your strengths are, and you adapt your style of play around that type of profile. And no, look, there'll be teams out there, I'm sure, and you've got to take a little bit of what the Premiers have done, and obviously Adelaide as well. So everyone's looking at that. Whether you copy it, it's another story.
Adam, how's Sam Mitchell fitting into the coaching group?
Well, he's overseas at the moment, so I haven't seen him. He's finishing off his MBA, so he's at study at the moment, so he'll be back next week. He's going well.
Yeah, so MBA. Just explain a little bit more about that. What's he actually doing?
Yeah, well, he's
just studying.
Yeah.
A lot of your youngsters have talked about wanting to learn off him. What's he going to add to your midfield group with a little bit of changeover going on there?
Yeah, well, there's different dynamics with everything we're doing at the moment. The logo, the stadium, the training base. Our coaches have changed as well. With Nathan Van Berlo's doing our stoppages and Sam doing our midfield. With big Joffa Giles as our ruck coach. So that's a different feel already around the club, which we're really excited about.
You said you're going to be different. Is that your decision to change, or is that just because of the players that you've brought in that you'll be different?
Well, I think the transition started last year, and what we started to work towards is a bit of a new era for us. So the dynamics of our playing group, the list profile with our age has gone from, I don't know, I think oldest to 12th youngest, younger than Freo's squad. So that's exciting, and that'll bring change no matter what.
How have the senior players found all the changes? They just
I don't know. They've been here for one day, so they got smashed in the time trial. A lot of new faces, a lot of introductions, and it'll take a bit of time, but that's part of our process now, is to get everyone united.